St Mary's Stadium, home to Southampton FC, holds 32,363 Saints fans. Built in August 2001, has seen such footballers as James Beattie, Adam Lallana and Ricky Lambert. However, forget the history of the stadium. Let's go and beat Southampton in the Carabao Cup and put a win against a local rival into the history books. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 1 of the Cherries travel guide to the Championship, and my first video on FM21. My name is James, and on today's episode, we kick things off with a bang in the Carabao Cup second round, where we face local rivals Southampton at St Mary's Stadium. Now, my plan for this series is that it will run throughout the FM21 Beta. Whether I'll carry it on once the beta is over is, I think, depending on how well the series goes, but I do have another series planned for when the full game does officially launch. The concept behind this series is that Bournemouth are down in the Championship for the first time in a little while, and so they have decided to go on tour, celebrate all the away games. The fans are going to come with them as well. They're going to jump on a tour bus, but they are going to mark some of the key away games of the season with these episodes and create a travel guide for teams that may be new to the Championship and giving them an idea of what to expect. Now, I decided to do pre-season before starting the series, get that bit out of the way, do all the admin bits I would normally do at the start of a series. And so we have had a fair few matches that have happened before now. We started off with a 4-1 win against our B team. Nothing really special there. However, we did start off our main friendlies with a 3-0 loss. However, it got better from there, scoring 17 goals and only conceding 1, which was against Liverpool, including that 4-1 win against Liverpool in the last friendly of pre-season. We also started off the season really well with a 2-0 home win against Blackburn. Blackburn were never really in it. We dominated the match. And we're good for the win. Really, we should have actually scored more. There was lots of talk in the press afterwards that maybe it was Blackburn that lost the game rather than us winning the game. But I would take a win as a positive to start the season. And then we had the fact that we would be facing Southampton in the Carabao Cup, and I thought I had to start the series with that match. In terms of news, other than the matches that we've played, there has been some transfer business. When I started at the club, we had 0 transfer budget, and we were slightly over as we are now with our wage budget. And so to be able to bring anyone in, there was going to need to be some shifts on the out, and there has been. It was a fairly significant one in terms of the dressing room. Asmir Begovic has gone to CSKA Moscow for 2.4 million, rising to 3 million with some add-ons. This was a little bit of a risk because we only had one other goalkeeper at the club at the time. There's a little bit of a spoiler there, which was a youngster. He was also a team leader of the dressing room, but he was also on 70 grand a week. He was taking up a significant portion. He was taking up almost 10% of the wage budget just by himself, which meant that I had to. He was a prime target for trying to get rid of him. I offered him out without putting him on the transfer list. CSKA Moscow came in straight away, but it meant we could bring some money in to be able to. We could have some money in the transfer budget to be able to bring in some players that we sorely needed, because there were certain areas of the team that were a little bit threadbare. Now, to start with, the Josh Clark transfer came in before I started, so we'll start with Begovic's replacement, Ben Foster. Now, I am very much aware of the fact this is a 37-year-old Ben Foster. However, we brought him in for 700k. We brought him in for less than a third of what we got for Begovic, and he's come in on a fraction of his wages as well. He was also better than Begovic, coming in at 3.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. He is still a very good goalkeeper for this level at 37 years old. He played in 4 friendlies and did really, really well. Got 3 clean sheets, and he's got his first clean sheet in the Championship with the first match against Blackburn. So I really think we've got an upgrade without actually having to spend any money because of the money we brought in from Begovic, and the money that we saved from his wages. And the second, but not necessarily last transfer to come in, I am reunited with a former player from a previous life, Thierry Correa, who has come in from Valencia for 2.1 million. He only signed with them last season for 10.75. He played 4 games for them and has then come to us for a fraction of that. He comes in at 20k a week, 3-star current ability, possibly 4.5-star potential ability depending on how he develops. In my previous life as a Bristol Rovers manager, he did very well for me. He came in at the right time and really did put in a shift. He came up on the scout reports, recognised the name straight away, and thought he's definitely going to be a good option to come in at a low cost. So that is all the player transfers. We have had a wave of new staff come in. We had only half the training staff in when I started. We had a fraction of the players, the fraction of the recruitment team there, and we've also filled out the medical staff. We still have more staff to bring in, but that's something that is going to be a bit of a long-term project. But at the moment, we have some of the best coaches in this league, which is going to be good, because if we look at the club vision, we are expected, unsurprisingly, to go up as champions in the Championship. I don't think I'd get sacked if we got promoted without getting the title, but I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility that we should be easily at the top of the table with the team that we have, and we can go into this league with some confidence. So thought I'd start FM20 with going through some of the FM20 features. One thing I will say straight away, I really like the new design. The purple background with the club streak around the top left. It's really nice to look at, really pleasant on the eyes as well, compared with some of the lighter interfaces of previous renditions of Football Manager. Some of the elements, as we go through, some of the elements are going to take a little bit of getting used to, but obviously cover those off as and when we come to them. But something which I never thought I would do on an episode, let's go into a press conference. Let's show off the new press conference sequence. I do like this, and I like the way that a lot of the meetings are being held up now in terms of in more of a 3D environment, with the idea being everyone is stood around or sat around, kind of around you, firing off questions or queries. So let's get into the press conference. Can you give us an indication of how you'll be approaching this match tactically? I'm be going attacking. That's how it's going to be for the entire season. What matters more, a win against local rival Southampton or a win against somebody else? It is a foundation of rivalry. So do you have any worries about the players being able to keep their heads during this heated atmosphere? Our best chance is for all 11 to be on the field. And that is the end of the press conference. I do also like this element as well, having a press officer. So far, all I've had is I think the press conference was fine. That's the only feedback I've had. How many options there are to change that as the time goes on. I also do like the fact you can develop relationships with the journalists. So it means the fact that maybe you might be able to develop positive relationships so they don't start either spreading rumours or start putting negative stuff about you in the press. I think that could be really useful as a tool, and using the media as a tool, which you haven't necessarily had to be able to do as well in previous versions of Football Manager. And this is the team that faces Southampton today. And I introduce you for the first time. We have Ben Foster in goal. We have Correa, Mepham, Cook and Smith as the back four, Billing in defensive midfield, Cook and Lerma in central midfield, Stanislas and Bucks are the wide men, and then we have Solanke up front. So here we are, we have the team sheet for today's match. So let's get into the game. So here we are, my first match on an FM21 episode. I'm hoping the team steps up and plays well, but we have a highlight straight away on 4 minutes. Foster with the goal kick. Walcott manages to collect the ball. I mean, that was Forster, not Foster. That's really going to confuse me. Stanislas, though, we won the ball back because I realised we were in blue and not in red. Stanislas with the ball. Stanislas played really well in the previous match, getting himself a brace against Blackburn. And I was hoping he was going to get the first of his first of our goals today. But Southampton have the throw in here with Walcott. Chipped into centre to long, but Foster, not Forster, this time manages to collect the ball. And this time he boots the ball forward, looking for Solanke. Solanke is past the defence, 1-on-1 with Forster. However, he puts it over the goal. You'd hope from that distance, 1-on-1 with a keeper, he was going to be able to get that on target. And that is 2 opportunities now we've had to put ourselves ahead. And hopefully we won't regret that later on. But on 14 minutes, we have another highlight. Southampton with the throw-in with Walker-Peters to Ings, back to Peters. Looks to try and bring it inside to Armstrong. Toward Price. Chips it forward. Southampton are in space there. Musa Musa was out on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, punishes us for not marking him. He puts it past Foster and puts Southampton 1-0 up at St Mary's Stadium. See, the game may have changed, but I haven't. I still struggling to pronounce players' names, and I think that's probably going to be, for every new save I start, I think that's always going to be a problem. But Southampton have a corner here, but we've managed to clear it. But it's back out to the original corner taker, Ward-Prowse. Back into the centre to Musa, who scored the first goal. He's into the centre. No one's attacking him there. No one pressures him at all. And he walks in and puts in for his second of the game. And we are 2-0 down now, and this is looking a long way back for us already in this match. Ward-Prowse puts it back in. I'm not sure who that was there. Smith was there, didn't even pressure him. Just let Musa walk past him and knock it into the net. Foster didn't really have a chance. We may be making some changes early here, I think. Right, just pause it a second, because as you can see down the bottom, we've got Solanke isn't very happy at all what's going on. And really and truly, we've got some low ratings across the board. I think I might start early with a little bit of a shout. Let's fire them up. Presume that's the FM21 equivalent of Show Some Passion. But hopefully it drives the players forward. Solanke's now positive. There's a number of happy faces now in the squad. Maybe I should have done that from the first goal, but you live and you learn. Right, I've had a note saying that Lewis, Brooks and Cook are both looking error prone today. That will be something that I may have to look at now coming into half-time. Right, so we've got our team talk here, but what I will do is I'm going to look at the tactics before making the team talk. Brooks is having an awful game. He didn't have a great pre-season, if I'm honest. I have played him to try and see if maybe competitive fixtures will be more would give him a bit of a boost, but it hasn't. So I'll bring on King for Brooks. And Cook has had a poor game as well. Do I make a double substitution at half-time? It's not something that I would normally want to do. Now, how do I get back to the team talk? Do I kick on half-time? Is that right? Nope. There must be a way of getting back to the team talk. Well, I mean, I won't make this error in future. Right, well, looks like I'm having to go into the second half without having done team talk. Here we go. So click that and it does take us back to the team talk screen. Should have tried that in the first place. Right, it's time to throw a water bottle. King, Stanislas, Korea and Mepam obviously are not a fan of the water bottle. But hopefully it drives some of the others to be able to do better in that second half. And we are not 5 minutes in, and Billing is now injured. If we've got anybody on the bench that we can bring on for him. I mean, what we may have to do is, I think we have to push Lerma back there. Let's bring on Dan Gosling onto the right-hand side as a box-to-box midfielder. Midfield is one area where we do need to try and recruit. We are very paper thin. Gosling is basically it really for backups for central midfield. Outside of that, there's a couple of youngsters and some attacking midfield players who could possibly play in that area, but it's not an area. It's definitely an area where I want to bring in more players, I think. This is definitely one area of the game that I'm just going to take a little while getting used to. This new screen here, I like the animations in and out of it, but it's obviously so used to how it's been with FMs over the last kind of 5 to 10 years. That's having that change is something that's going to take a little bit getting used to. Isn't necessarily a negative. One negative is the fact that we are now 3-0 down after 55 minutes. We are 100% out of the Carabao Cup, I think, at this point, and an embarrassing loss to a local rival in Southampton. We have been two extremes so far this season with the first two matches. 2-0 win against Blackburn in the Championship and then a 3-0 loss against Southampton. It does show that even though we might be good in the Championship matches, we still have a long way to go, and we really need to start improving in certain areas. Right, 65 minutes on the clock. Let's make the final substitution of the match. Lerma is having a horrible game, 6.1. However, we've just discussed how we don't have anybody else to bring on for him. I mean, I could pick and choose anybody, but I'm going to take off Solanke. Let's bring on Surridge. He had a couple of good performances in some of the friendlies. Hopefully he can bring that into this match as well. Right, 76 minutes on the clock, almost 77 minutes, and Southampton have a throw-in. It's in the centre with Long. We do manage to win it back though, but Long manages to win back the ball. Another calamitous error by our defence. Cook's mistake. It has been one error after another in this game, and we are very much deserving of a 4-0 hammering today. We have not been good enough. We have been very, very poor in this game. I am baffled the fact that even one of our players has a 7.0 average rating in this match, because we have not been deserving of any positive ratings. It has been a very poor game, and you can guarantee I'll be definitely having a word with some of the players after this game. I know we're only 2 matches into the season, but if we're going to put in an embarrassing performance like this, we really do need to start bucking our ideas up. And there we go, full time. A disgraceful loss against Southampton at St Mary's Stadium. A 4-0 loss is poor against any team, but against a local rival is definitely a bitter pill to swallow. Korea had a good game in it. I think in his first match in a Bournemouth shirt, but I am definitely going to be can't throw the bottle this time, but I'm going to thrash in my arms. Far from pleased. They're all motivated. Hopefully they'll take that into the match on Saturday against Middlesbrough. And if we're going to go with a final cliche for this episode, I think it'll be at least we can focus on the league. So if you enjoyed that, please give the video a like. Thank you for all the support that everyone's given me so far on my previous YouTube series. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of those videos as they come out. I'm going to be trying to churn out videos as often as I can during the beta period, right up until the full game release on the 24th of November. And thank you very much for watching.